And there we go. We are live. So welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in onto this first live watch party of the Bronson month on November the 4th. Would have been perfect if we did it yesterday because it was Bronson's birthday yesterday. But I did a video yesterday to celebrate that occasion. So anyway, guys, I'm joined today by Dan's Movie Cave, my regular sort of partner, collaborator in a few series that we're doing. We're doing the Westerns for Life series, which has been a bit stale recently, but we're going to pick steam up on that very, very soon. And of course, every month I'm on Dan's channel, usually on a Sunday, where we discuss a variety topics, variety subjects of films and whatever. So Dan, I think we mostly know the same people. Sort of subscribe to your channel and mine, but in case anybody is watching that is not familiar with you yet, please give us a little bit about yourself, about your channel, something that's coming up maybe. Anything you want to plug?
Yes. So my channel, Dan's Movie Cave, been on YouTube since 2008. Not always on this channel. I've been a movie fan since the late 80s. Collector of physical media, and yeah, my channel. I like to talk about my favourite movies, movies that I pick up. Of course, the Talking Movies collaborative live stream, the Western series Jeff spoke about. Yeah, I like to think that I keep the channel ticking over with enough content for people to tune in and interact with me about what I'm talking about. That's it, really.
Yeah, and if again anybody isn't subscribed to Dan's channel, please do so. The link is in the description of the stream down below. Give him a sub if you haven't. And with that, we're going to start welcoming some people in. Of course, welcome to Dan himself. Thanks for joining us again. And
thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And here we have Bob McCall, the equalizer himself. Good evening, Bob.
Evening.
And also Mr. Video Tasties, the king of watch parties himself. Gareth, how are you doing, sir?
Evening, Gareth.
And Matt, also a future guest on this Bronson stream. He's going to be joining me on Death Wish 2 next week. Puckwall 316. Hey, gentlemen. Nice NWO shirt, Dan. A nice shirt, 101 shirt as always, Jeff. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Hey, Bob, Gareth. So before we start our feature presentation, a word from our sponsor, I would say, is in order. And I say that very tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, we have a sponsor for the night. Bronson himself appears in this commercial that we have prepared for this one.
Thank you, Mr. Bronson. Good night, Mr. Bronson. Sleep tight.
Thank you, sir.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land and to know the joy of loving is to live in the world of man down. There's a someone soon the world will be yours. Might return today, but it disappears when the ones you love are near. You're in
Mandan. 愛とは、勇気とは、優しさとは、男の在り方を問うとき、男の大衆が漂う。男の在りか、それはマンダム。
I've
Yeah.
only seen the beginning bit of that. I've never seen it in full.
Oh yeah, well that's the full one, yeah. It's an ad that I've seen many times over the years. When I first discovered it, I couldn't believe that Bronson did that ad, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Our sponsor today is Mandem, which is appropriate because this is a very manly film, Mr.
Yeah.
Majestyk. And let's welcome in a couple more people. We have, of course, our other Talking Movies collaborator right here, Mr. Eastwood for Life fan, Carlos. How you doing, sir?
Evening, Carlos.
I think I remember that ad, yeah. He actually did a couple of those ads. A couple of them you can find on YouTube. That's just, I think, the most famous one. Liberal used. Yeah. I think we should be fine with the copyright on that ad, but anyway, I have sort of tried to mirror the camera that is recording the TV. I think it's not working. It's still not mirrored, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show the TV for a couple of seconds now in the beginning, or a minute or so, and then I will switch it up and just keep going back to it so people will know what point of the film we're at. So I would say without any further ado, let's just start the film. If you're ready, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit
Same
play.
point as you.
Also in the MGM. That's good. All right. So in
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. There we go. Turn the volume down a bit. I mean, yeah, he was sort of splashing that on, wasn't he? He was bathing in that more than anything else.
Yeah, I've got to say I've only ever done one watch party with Gareth for Planes, Trains and Automobiles, and I noticed the difference in speed with a Blu-ray to his tape. You had to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
pausing. Yeah, so I'm like exactly synced into what you've got now. Exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, we should mention we both have the same Blu-ray that we're playing for this one, so I think
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any problems with the delays or running behind or anything like that. So yeah, but with the tapes with Gareth, there usually is a massive difference. Yeah.
Yeah, just as Carlos is watching, as Carlos sent me this, I've still got your note you sent it with.
There you go, Carlos. That's proof that he still has it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hear the awesome Mr. Majestyk theme right here by Charles Bronson, who of course did the music for the Nightmare on Elm Street films a couple of years later after this. So how do you rate this theme among the Bronson themes in terms of his movie scores?
It's not my favourite. I like the graphics on this a lot. I was thinking that today
Yeah.
because this is kind of like this kind of graphic has all come back. This kind of retro feel, but yeah, I like it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I like the music in this one. I think they sort of overplay the theme a little too much. I think they should have had some more variety in the score. But overall, I am a fan of the Charles Bernstein score. And here actually the film starts. So we're now post credits. I'm gonna take the TV off for just a few minutes. Wait, should do it on here. Yeah, there we go. Just to avoid copyright or to avoid us getting taken down. But yeah, we're just after the opening credits. We're now getting our Bronson entrance. He just stepped out of the men's room with his awesome flat cap. The lovely Lee Purcell is great in this. Yeah, she's pretty good in this one, actually.
Mm.
I thought he sold it on or maybe took it to CEX.
No, not me.
There's certain other YouTubers who might do that, but not Dan. So I'm planning to ask this of all my guests that will appear on the Bronson stream. So future guests that are watching, be warned. So Dan, what was your first introduction to Bronson? The first sort of film that you remember seeing, and the film that sort of made you a fan of his, if you can remember.
The first ever film, because my granddad was a massive fan of the original Death Wish, and I stayed up one evening. I watched that with him, and I didn't actually fall in love with Bronson as an actor from then. but I enjoyed the movie. But the first one was kind of when I started getting my own money, and I bought an edition of Once Upon a Time in the West, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of like started me on my journey, because I obviously really love Clint Eastwood, and that was the one that really kind of made me start digging for other movies. And unfortunately, here in the UK, a lot of his movies like Death Wish really cut to bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, Death Wish, great movie, but it's not one of my most favourites of his, I've got to say.
Yeah, I think for me, if I take a look at the entire Death Wish sort of franchise, probably number two is my favorite out of all of them. I think objectively speaking, I think the first one is the best, sort of made in terms of, the filming behind it and everything. But just my
Yeah.
personal favorite has always been the second. I mean, the most entertaining, obviously, is Death Wish 3. And then Death Wish 4 and 5, they're okay. Especially Death Wish 4 is definitely a hair above 5. But yeah, my favorite has to be the second one out of all of them for me.
Yeah, I'd go along
Even though
with that. It's the most,
that is the most brutal one.
yeah, as I say. Because I'd never previously seen that uncut until I got the Australian Umbrella release, and I thought, wow,
Oh
there's
yeah,
like about 10 minutes here I've never seen before.
yeah,
Yeah, it's quite a hard watch, to be honest.
yeah. The opening of it is damn. It's brutal when the maid and his daughter they get raped again. Yeah,
Yeah, I do tend to fast forward that part when I
yeah,
rewatch it.
yeah. It's definitely not the most comfortable thing to watch. So we have Bronson making contact with Linda Crystal's character. Know something about melons? Just to remind the people we are at this point right here in the film. Bronson is telling them to use that thing as a bathroom because this gas station owner won't let him use the bathroom. So this film, interestingly, this came out, I think, in July of 1974. I think just a week after this film came out in the US anyway. That's when Death Wish came out. So like a week apart, Mr. Majestyk and Death Wish came out. So imagine being a Bronson fan in 1974 in the US. I mean, you would go to see this one, today, and next week you would go to see Death Wish.
Yeah,
That would have been awesome. Yeah. Of course, Death Wish was the one that really made him a star and put him on the map in the US. Before that, he was a huge sort of international star in Europe and in the UK and stuff. But in the US, it
yeah.
really took until Death Wish for him to really become a big box office star. And
The
again,
one
if you
thing I
guys
bought,
are wondering where I find this information, I recommend the Bronson's Loose books by Paul Talbot. This one is the first. Yeah, Bronson's Loose, The Making of the Death Wish films. This one covers all 5 of the Death Wish films with people like Michael Winner and just a variety of cast members and stuff interviewed. And then you have the follow-up book, which is Bronson's Loose Again on the Set with Charles Bronson, which this one covers pretty much every film he did after Death Wish, except for, which I found odd, probably Paul Talbot didn't find enough information on it. That's the only thing I can gather. This one skips Telephone and St. Ives, which I should mention are both getting a Blu-ray release pretty soon for the Bronson fans among us. But yeah, this one covers Cabo Blanco, Love and Bullets is in there from Noon Till 3. A variety of Bronson films are covered, and he has a lot of facts and stuff and information. So those are recommended reading material for Bronson Month. So yeah. Let's see, we have Brandon obsessed with horror. Hey Brandon, how are you doing? We are doing good. We're watching some Bronson.
yeah,
1974 was the breakout year for Bronson. Yeah, he craved a big hit in the US. That's right. Death Wish was really a big juggernaut. Big hit. Yeah, Mr. Majestyk, then Death Wish. Robert Joy from Death Wish 5 was also in the Equalizer TV show. Of course, Mr. McCall would know. And that is true, yeah. So yeah.
It's strange being here, not clicking the comments myself. It's because I'm expecting them to come up here on the right. It's just
Yeah. Mm.
I haven't
Yeah.
been on a live stream like not hosted for 10 months, I think.
Yeah, because the past 10 months I've been on your channel when there was a live stream, yeah. I know Gareth actually was saying the same thing when we did 10 to midnight a couple of weeks ago. Like, it's weird sitting, I can't click the comments, I can't, manage the things, yeah.
Nice and relaxing.
Apparently on StreamYard I can add a co-host, so if anybody does want to keep an eye on comments and stuff, we can set up a co-host, but other than that, yeah. Just relax, sit back, and I'm in charge of the comments this time.
This is one of my favourite lines he's just delivered here.
There it is, yeah, the big line. You make sounds
Yeah.
like you're a mean little ass kicker. Only I ain't convinced. Let's show that scene a little bit. Leave the melons you picked, they're messed up right there.
See that? I think he's great at delivering his lines, and I know he didn't like to talk, did he? At one point, he liked to be more. He didn't have a lot of dialogue early on in his
Yeah,
career.
true.
I think he delivers his lines very naturally and not aggressive like Clint Eastwood's a bit more aggressive, isn't he, in his
True.
delivery?
Yeah.
And I like Bronson's subtleness.
Yeah, same here. I do want to show this bit here when Bronson sort of hits his genitals, let's say, with the shotgun. Yeah, no, I do agree. Bronson, he was always more sort of softer in his delivery, not really. I guess he never sort of raised his voice or sort of showed much anger when he talked, even if he was angry. So
Yeah.
where Clint Eastwood, he was like, do you feel lucky? And he sort of, made that really. Oh, here we go. Yeah, don't fuck with Charles Bronson. Clint Eastwood, he sort of always, I guess added a sort of, scowl or sort of, added some anger in his voice. Yeah. Some gruffness. Alan Terry's such an underrated bad guy villain. Shame he died. Yeah, he died. I think it was only like a year after this. This one was 74. It came out. I think Alan Terry passed away in 75. Yeah, but as we were talking before before we went live, he's been in so many great films that you don't even realize. Like, obviously, he was in The Godfather as Salozzo. And for those that haven't seen The Godfather in a while, he's the guy that Pacino shoots in the restaurant. He was also in The Getaway with Steve McQueen, which Carlos was talking about yesterday in the group's chat with us. Still have to see the original Steve McQueen Getaway. I've only seen the remake, so that is definitely one that's high up on my list. But he was also in The Dawn is Dead, I believe, and he did a couple of very good early 70s gritty crime films. Yeah, it's a shame he passed away so early, indeed. Yeah. And that is second as well. Or is this? Oh, this is about Bronson. True, I believe early on he only wanted minimal dialogue. He preferred to be more traditionally stoic and to act with his face and mannerisms. Yeah. I think Bronson does talk about that on my Saint Ives DVD. There's a little featurette on there where Bronson's actually interviewed. And he says acting isn't just speaking, it's you use your whole body as a language, as an instrument. So he wanted to use everything that he had, just not his, not just his voice and, not just rely on dialogue. So that's very true. Yeah. I enjoyed Bronson during the 80s with his films, with his Canon films releases, the movies that get very silly. Not as shitty as many think, but certainly no classics from that period. I don't know. I sort of always, have a huge guilty pleasure love for nostalgia, I guess, even for Canon films. And I love those films that he did with them. Like 10 to Midnight is probably my favorite of the Canon period. Murphy's Law, which is also a watch party that's coming up this month. That's a great one. I do like Gingette, which was his last one in the 80s, 89. But yeah, there was some great ones. And even though this one wasn't a Canon film, but Death Hunt came out in the 80s, and The Evil That Men Do, which wasn't a Canon film, but those are great films as well. But
Yeah.
I'd certainly say his sort of golden era of films is like between 1968 until the late 70s, I guess. 1968 with Once Upon a Time in the West, and then with Farewell Friend, which was a very popular French film he did. And then I say right up until the late 70s, which was his, for me, I think, his huge golden era of films. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree with you. His best work come from that Once Upon a Time in the West, but I mean the Cannon period. I love Cannon movies. They're just
Yeah,
great fun. It's just the graphic of their logo gets me,
yeah,
and I mean no matter what it is. But I
true.
think
Just
the
when those
Bronson
things
movie,
come on. Yeah,
yeah, that's prime time VHS days for me. That and Caracol.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I watch it. Bronson's one of them I watch in anything. The only one I think I haven't seen is what, the Father Christmas movie or something, isn't there?
Oh yeah. Yes, Virginia. There is a Santa Claus. I have to double check actually, because I do always confuse the title with something else. Because I do have that one. Where is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, yes, Virginia. There is a Santa Claus, which is that Christmas TV movie that he did in the early
Yeah,
'90s. Yeah,
yeah,
which is released by Shout Factory in the US. I know you now have a region free Blu-ray player, so if you can get this, it's
yeah.
definitely worth it. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's kind of like a war movie I may not have seen as well. It's slipped
Mm.
my mind now. I can't remember. I know there's a couple I haven't seen in full.
Yeah, obviously, I think he did the Dirty Dozen. Obviously, The Great Escape. I think he was also in the Battle of the Bulge, if I'm not mistaken.
I've seen
I'm
all
sure
them.
some I'm
It's
sure somebody
might be
will.
a TV movie.
Oh, Raid on Entebbe.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's TV movie about it's sort of actually very similar to the Delta Force film with Chuck Norris, where there's a plane sort of hostage caper going on, and yeah, Bronson sort of leads a task force to go in. It's a little bit like the Delta Force, which I guess makes sense because I think the Delta Force was based on that true story from that film. So I guess that would make
okay.
sense. Paul Coslow had one of those faces you just wanted to give a dry slap. And actually, that brings me on to some trivia. I know Gareth also always asks people these sort of things. But Paul Coslow appeared in 3 films with Charles Bronson. Obviously, this one. But he did one with Bronson before this one and one after. Can you name both of those films?
One before this one. I was thinking today. I know the face, but I just can't place him like the guy from The Godfather. I forgot his bloody
Oh,
name
yeah.
now as well.
Alan
I just
Perry,
can't
yeah.
place. That's yeah. I can't place him. Go on. What else has he been in? And I kicked myself once you said.
Well, he appeared in The Stone Killer with Bronson before this one. That one was 73. And the film that
Yeah.
they did after was Love and Bullets from, I think that was 78 or 79 when that was released. Yeah.
Right, I wouldn't have got that one. The first
Although,
one, yeah.
although I should add, they don't share scenes in Love and Bullets, but Paul Coslow is in that one. Yeah. And here we have
This
Scott,
scene.
the movie critic. Hey, Scott.
Oh, Scott.
Oh, yeah, that scene right there where he meets Alan Terry's character. Yeah.
Because Alateri, when he's sitting here, he looks massive, doesn't he?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's not actually that big a guy.
I think he sort of put on a bit of weight after The Godfather, because in The Godfather he wasn't looking this massive.
Mm.
I think he might have put on some weight.
You think when
That
he's
song
going to
played the
stand up,
accordion
he's going to
TV.
be.
Yeah, I guess when he gets out, I think he's about the same height as Bronson, because I do know that Bronson famously didn't want to work with people that were sort of taller than him, because yeah, Bronson wasn't the tallest guy. So I think if you were taller than him, he would sort of say, "I don't want to share the scene," or he would pull something like that. But I think that is something that I have heard, that he didn't want to work with people that were taller than him. So Anyway, before we forget, welcome Scott. How are you doing?
Hi,
Thanks for
Scott.
joining us. Alatari is probably known for his Godfather role, but my favorite is Sam Peckinpah's There You Go, The Getaway with Steve McQueen. He's badass and hilarious in the movie, and I still have to see it. So it's believe me, Carlos, it's high up on my list. I'm gonna get it very, very soon. When does he take out some punks? Well, we're gonna have to wait a bit for that, but he has already smashed Paul Castle around and hit him in the groin with a shotgun barrel or stock or whatever it was. But before he's gonna start cleaning up the trash, we're gonna have to wait a while. Hi, Gavin, Scotty, Ramon. Is Ramon here? I'm not seeing him in the comments. Oh, okay. He corrected it, Carlos. I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Carlos knew the answers. The Stone Killer and Love and Bullets. Yeah, Love and Bullets, like that one, needs a Blu-ray release. Yeah, I agree. I do think now that we have the awesome news that Telephone and St. Ives are getting a Blu-ray release, I'm sure if those sell well, there might be a chance for Love and Bullets. So I really hope that's going to happen soon. I do like that film. And now we are on the bus. They're being transferred to, I guess, prison. But the bus is going to be intercepted by a couple of Frank Randa's, or aka Alatari's goons here. But this is actually a pretty good action scene that's going to happen right here. And Carlos, I know you're already looking forward to, yeah, there he is, Alatari, when he's going to say the keys over and over again in the bus. Which is going to happen in just a few moments. Hey, here we go, nice explosion. Yeah. Close the doorway. Some nice shotgun action. Ooh. So this is actually a really, really decent, well-made action scene for this film here. The keys. There we go. He's going to start saying it now. Maybe if I can add the volume a little bit. I'm going to say it. We'll wait. The keys to the handcuff. The keys. Scott is saying definitely need to check out Love and Bullets. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, that is a really good one. A bit underrated Bronson film. Not one of my favorite Bronson Island collaborations. They have done better films, but still pretty good. The keys. There we go. Yeah, I love that scene. This film looks like a lot of fun as well. Never seen it before. Looking forward to watching it though. Oh yeah, definitely recommend it if you can get the UK Blu-ray. I think it's still in print, isn't it? The Signal One Blu-ray. Definitely get this one. It has some good special features as well, so definitely recommend that edition.
Yeah, I see it in all HMV and FOP have always got that.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Like, I don't know why we haven't got more Bronson films released here in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think Love and Bullets, I don't think that even has a UK release. I think Carlos has a, correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos, I think a Scandinavian DVD. I have the Dutch DVD myself of that, but I think that is also one that, again, isn't available in the UK, I think, as well as, I don't think you guys have a Death Hunt release, do you?
No, that's so expensive. So the best one to go for is the Spanish release of that.
Yeah, true.
Unless you want to spend £100.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there we go. I actually got the German edition now. I actually ordered this off eBay for 30 euros. Actually, was a bargain for this
That's
one.
a
So
good
I now got
price.
the official release of it now. But yeah, that Spanish
Yeah.
release, there's nothing wrong with it. It is, I think, as Dan said, the cheapest option to go right now. I think that would be one. I think Arrow or 88 Films, if they would release that, I think that would be perfect fit for them. I would like to see
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, Murphy's Law. There you go. That's a Canon film. Yeah, I do love that film as well. My dad loves the key scenes. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, Scott. He's going to get the Blu-ray. And now we have Bronson has just escaped with Renda, and they're hiding out in what is this place? So sort of an abandoned factory or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've not got Cold Sweat on Blu-ray. Someone behind
Yeah.
the door. There's loads.
Yeah, I suppose most of it's European films, which are pretty rare. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Sometimes it's weird. Like it's the same with Arnie. I know you guys don't have Eraser on Blu-ray or on release there.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's weird, like which movies are available and which ones aren't. Yeah.
What do you think about these Signal One releases? They get a bit of a flack in the UK by some people.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think Mr. Majestyk is the only one that I have, but I mean I don't know. I think maybe they could have added some reversible art because I do think this sort of what you have behind the disc is a bit I don't know, I guess basic standard. Um, although they did choose the right cover art already for this, so but I don't know, I don't really have any problems with the Signal One with this one anyway. So what's the criticism on the Signal One releases then?
More with the pitch quality. But yeah, I don't have a issue. Grain doesn't bother me, but yeah, I think fairly priced, small company, put out some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and even if we take a look at this transfer, I mean, I think this is a pretty clean transfer for the film. I mean, obviously, yeah, there's a little bit of grain and stuff left, but I mean, it's a film from 1974. It should have a little bit of grain. So,
Yeah.
I mean, areas Bronson punching it out with Alatari. There you go, Gareth. He's taking care of business. And somebody's taking care of business outside of Dan's house, as it's as I'm hearing. But no, Dan has warned me that there might be some fireworks. Yeah.
Can't stand it. Fireworks. I do not see the fascination with hearing loud bangs and watching things spark in the air.
Yeah, same for me.
It's just all night long.
So Scott has got to head out. Really enjoyed this, though. Have a great rest of the stream. Take care. Take care, Scott. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for support. Appreciate it, buddy. Love and Bullets DVD releases most of them, but most of them I think are full frame. My copy is a widescreen rip. I actually have to check what my Dutch DVD is. I think that one is full screen indeed. Yeah. So yeah, it would be nice if that one got a cleaned up, restored widescreen Blu-ray presentation. But I mean, I'm already happy that we're going to get Telephone. I mean, Telephone, the DVD that I have is really, really substandard picture quality. I mean, it looks like somebody sat in front of a TV, put in the VHS of Telephone and recorded it off the TV like that. Just it looks horrible.
I've always wondered with these old films, we said watching that sort of scene where he gets shot when he's running up to the bus. The first
Oh
time
yeah,
I ever saw blood that colour was Dirty Harry. I just always
yeah,
wonder why they can't get the blood colour right back then.
yeah. It was sort of like paint or whatever sort of they use. I
Yeah,
know. Yeah. But then again, when you get to sort of like the Peckinpah films, I mean, he had sort of pretty cool blood effects and color
yeah.
in the Wild Bunch and stuff. Yeah, but yeah. In general, it was yeah some weird color for the blood. Ah, here's Alucard from all the way from the U.S. from Louisiana. Hey Al, Bronson would
Wow.
have taken out the NWO for life. Have a great evening, gentlemen. Have a great evening, Brandon. Cheers. Watched the trailer of of the Fall Guy yesterday. Was expecting a cameo from Dan's movie.
You
Yeah,
know what?
that's
I'm glad that's been brought up, that Fall Guys trailer, because I watched that just before I come on here. I thought, oh,
yeah.
this looks good. And then there's a flip of a car that's clearly CGI, and I thought, no, I'm not
Mm.
interested now. Have you seen the bit I mean?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday when Gareth had his stream. Somebody brought it up on there. There's going to be a film of the Fall
Yeah.
Guy, and yeah, no, I haven't checked out the trailer yet, but
I thought if you can't be bothered to do a car flip, um,
yeah,
practically, I'm not interested now.
yeah, same. Especially in this film, as we're going to get a fantastic car scene, car chase later on. But yeah,
Yeah.
practical stunts is always better. Absolutely. Happy belated birthday to Charles. Yeah, indeed. Bloody Alucards. Yeah, their nemesis. Oh, bloody hell, the Tasty Man is here. Mr. Tasty Man to you, Alphonse. The Fall Guy CGI, no thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just stick to the original show. What is that with Ryan Gosling, was it? I think I heard.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Emily Blunt.
Mm.
Yeah, I was watching some trailers before, and that was the last one. But one before that was one called Ferrari with Adam Driver,
Oh yeah.
Enzo Ferrari. I thought, oh, this looks great. And then there's a scene where they clip a barrier, it flips, hits a lamppost, and it's CGI. And I just think, why?
Yeah.
It just lets it down.
Yeah, it just seems unnecessary, doesn't it? Yeah.
You say talking about the getaway, you see some great
Yeah.
scenes in that like this as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the 70s. I mean, obviously, Bullet. I mean, that was 68, I think. But, you know, the French Connection, this one, you know, the 70s action thriller cop films, they always had some great car
Yeah,
scenes, practical car scenes. I always love them because with these 70s films, you know, they're spinning out the tires and everything, and the sort of you hear the screeching of the tires. It's almost as if you can sort of smell you know, the
yeah.
tires being burned and stuff. You can always almost smell it. That's what I sort of like about these older car chases and car scenes because
And
you
you can
really
see the
feel the
back end,
realism.
can't you, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your Charles Bronson background, Jeff. Oh, thank you. Glad you mentioned that because I actually prepared one of these backgrounds for each of the watch parties I'm doing this month. So stay tuned to find out what the others look like. This is obviously for this film for Mr. Majestyk. So I put these collages sort of together for each one of these episodes or streams, I should say. Interviewing stuntman Jack Gill on Wednesday, who worked on the original Fall Guy series. Ooh, interesting. I'll definitely be tuning in for that one. Well, wait, I'm live on Wednesday too. Crap. What time are you doing it, Gareth? Because I got a live stream on Wednesday as well.
Proper car Ford Mustang.
Oh yeah, I love that car. Wait, I think we're gonna get a shot of it. There you go. I do love those old U.S. muscle cars and stuff, and especially the Mustangs. Yeah. Bronson could wear a dress and he'd still look badass. They don't make him like old stone face. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think I read somewhere when he grew up, because obviously he had a big family. I think he had like 10 brothers and sisters or whatever, maybe even more. When he went to school, I think he went to school in a dress because they couldn't afford the clothing. So yeah, Bronson went to school in a dress, but it sort of toughened him up, I guess.
Ask or I'll ask it. Carlos, what film do you think Bronson looked best in, physique-wise? I can't remember what film he said to me. That's what I was talking about before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let us know, Carlos. Yeah, because I think, especially in the 70s, like I said, he sort of kept the same physique. Obviously, when you look at Hard Times, he looks fantastic. Chados Land, he looks fantastic. Even in his European films, that he did before in the late 60s, early 70s, he looks absolutely fantastic, physique-wise. I think earlier on he might have even been bigger. I think Carlos is gonna tell us about that one. I think I know what you mean. I forgot at the moment as well. So help us out, Carlos. Oh wait, no, he's saying Chados Land, in his opinion, in Hard Times he was bulkier. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think in both of those he looks absolutely great. Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Cold Sweat. I thought he looked really ripped in.
Cold Sweat as well. Yeah. In Cold Sweat, there's the famous shot where he's standing like this, and you can see the bulging sort of biceps coming out. Yeah. Oh, here we go. A little bit more action. Bronson's wrestling with Al Terry for the gun. Oh, and he goes out the window. Now, apparently, that is a stunt double that just jumped out the window and is running, but
Yeah.
it certainly looks like Bronson to me. If it is a stunt double, it's not an obvious one. Let's put it that way. At least not to my eyes.
You can see quite a lot though. A lot of the scenes are driving ones. It does look like him driving.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I think even Paul Talbot on the audio commentary, I think he mentioned there's only like 2 stunts, I guess, in the film where it was a stuntman instead of Bronson. I think it was that scene that we just saw, and I think at the end where he's laying in the back of the truck, and the truck is sort of bouncing around on the road, and you see the guy in there
Yeah.
bouncing up, and I think that was a stuntman as well. I think Paul Talbot said other than those 2 stunts, Bronson pretty much did his own stuff in this film. So. Interestingly, I think I've heard people refer to this film as a bit of a Clash of the Stash sort of film because it's not getting a close up now, I think. But Bronson obviously has his iconic, famous mustache, and well, in this one, Alan Terry also was rocking a cool stash as well. If we can get a scene with him, I thought he was on screen there, but oh wait, I think I actually have something for that. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, he also has a great thick stash in the film as well. I think this is also from the scene that is going to come on our TV screen now. But yeah, so people have referred to this as a film, the Battle of the Stash, of the Stashes. Yeah. Cold Sweaty was lean also. Definitely early 70s. Bronson had a natural physique, non-bodybuilding, great physique. Yeah, apparently his workout routine was like he got up in the morning at whatever 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Had a cup of coffee, and then he went out for a couple of mile jog. He would hit the sandbag for a couple of minutes, I guess 30 minutes or whatever, or an hour maybe. He would do a little bit of weight lifting if he could. And apparently, if he was on movie set and traveling, if he was in a hotel room and stuff, hotel suites, instead of jogging outside, he would actually jog through the rooms of his hotel, through the hotel suite, which I thought was pretty cool.
How did you feel about the lookalike guy who come around a few years ago? I nearly
Yeah.
got caught out in one of them films.
Yeah, Bronzy. Yeah, I think I have seen two of them. I've seen Death Kiss, which obviously is a blatant sort of rip off trying to cash in on Death Wish. Which that was okay, and I've seen Leo made me or asked me to review one for his channel, which I did about 2 years ago. Death on Cell Block 13 or something with Cell Block 13, I guess, in the title. Which that was decent. It had some nice sort of over the top action, a little too much CGI for my liking, but it was an okay sort of actioner, straight to DVD. But yeah, he does look a lot like him, but I don't think he has a tenth of the charisma that of course the original Bronson had.
Yeah.
I think Carlos also has a film with him. I don't think he has seen it yet, but Bronson. Oh, Michael Myers. Hey, Michael. Bronson is the kind of movie tough guy that sadly just doesn't exist. There you go. Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah, I think Clint Eastwood is the last of that sort of breed of men, if you will. He really is the last of those action tough guys that are still left. Yeah. So you haven't seen one of those Bronzy films yet?
I can't remember who I see review it. It wasn't sort of someone within this community, but I thought it looked awful, and they was praising it, and they give it like a 6.5 out of 10, and I just thought, God, I can't,
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with watching that. No.
Yeah,
not
like I
for
said,
me.
the two films I've seen, they're okay. I mean, I would definitely, in terms of in terms of straight to DVD actioners, I would certainly put him over most of Seagal's output nowadays. So, I mean, he does have that going for him anyway. So,
And
but
as
yeah,
well,
it's
you couldn't be as manly as this now in films. That's another
true.
thing.
That's another thing. Yeah, can't be too tough, can't be too macho. You gotta please, all these people out there they want diversity and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's just natural watching him. He just does it with ease.
Yeah,
You just think that's him.
yeah, that's him indeed. So I guess this could be an interesting question. You reckon he is better on screen with the tash or without it? Because obviously he had both looks throughout his career.
Uh, it's a hard one because I love him in Once Upon a Time in the West, but I think the Tash is just so iconic.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I think no one carries that off like him. How about you?
Yeah, I'd probably be the same. As much as I love him in Once Upon a Time in the West and obviously Hard Times, he doesn't have the tash in that one. Um, yeah, that is the look when you think Bronson, you think of that great, very
Yeah,
thin, white mustache. Yeah. So I would say that's definitely the most iconic look for him.
Yeah. You know, there's a very famous prisoner in the UK called Charles Bronson.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
heard of this. Yeah.
Have you seen the film called Bronson?
Oh, with Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah.
I think I have
Yeah.
seen that one. Yeah. It's been a
So
while
yeah,
though, but
he named
yeah.
himself after him because of how tough he was. But someone suggested he called himself Charlton Heston. I won't repeat what he said about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bronson is definitely tougher than Heston, that's for sure. Hey, Michael, you live from Haddonfield. Yeah, he just survived Halloween night where Dr. Loomis shot him 6 times. The only guy on the planet who could still look hard as nails in a flat cap. Yeah, that's another thing. I love his style in this film with the flat cap. The sort of there's a perfect example as he's getting out of the car. There's sort of the denim look that he has, the denim jacket, the jeans, of course that flat cap. I think this is a really, really great look for Bronson. Probably not something that I could pull off myself, but looks great on him. That's for sure. Yeah, Bronson with stash all day long. Wasn't quite the same without it. As for Carlos, it doesn't matter. It's his hard face and non-emotion in his eyes. Yeah, fair point. Donado and Daughter is a overlooked film. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. It's a TV film that he did in the early 90s. In the 90s, he predominantly did TV movies. And that's actually a pretty good one. Sort of reminiscent of 10 to Midnight in a way, because it also deals with a serial killer, has some darker themes for a TV movie, but it's a pretty good one. Have you seen that one?
No, I've heard of that. That's another one I haven't seen.
I think it's available because I have it. I think it's available in Germany, which we should add. A lot of these films are available in Germany.
Yeah.
Let's see, which edition do I have? Yeah, this is it. Which, oddly enough, on the cover it uses an image from Murphy's Law, but this is the Donado and Daughter film on Blu-ray from Germany, from Nameless Media.
Okay.
Which is yeah, pretty decent. So yeah, that's a good shout there, Bob. I do like that one. Bronson, Burt Reynolds, and Tom Atkins, the Holy Tash Trinity. Yeah, I guess so. All three had some great tashes. I'm considering moving to Haddonfield permanently. Yes, been mulling it over for a while now. Donato and Daughter was okay for a TV movie. Had Xander Berkeley in it, if I recall. Yeah, I think you might be right. Not that he's credited here on the Blu-ray, but I think you're right. I think he was in that. It's funny, this Paul Coslow character, Bobby Copas, he's a real weasel, isn't he? Like, you guys
Yeah.
just missed it, but on the TV, he just sort of backed away from Bronson, went very quickly into his car after Bronson started moving. Very, very weaselly. And apparently, him and Bronson didn't necessarily get along, but then again, Bronson was a bit of a sort of private man on set. He didn't really mingle with people. He didn't really let people in close. But apparently, him and Paul Castle didn't see eye to eye. I think they had a couple of sort of little mix-ups during filming. Bronson would always say "Hey, you" to Paul Castle. He wouldn't call him by name. He would just say "Hey, you." And apparently, they had a little bit of a disagreement and stuff. And Jill Ireland actually said that Bronson should apologize. So one day he would say to Paul Castle, "Hey, you, come here." And then Paul Castle would come over, and he said, "My wife thinks I should apologize to you, but I don't apologize. I just want you to know that besides me, I think you're the best actor in this film." So that was his way of apologizing. Which I forgot where I saw it, but it was on a video interview with Paul Costa. It might have been on this Blu-ray actually. Is it on here? No, this one doesn't have the. There was an interview with Paul. I think that was on the Stone Killer Blu-ray, where Paul Costa talked about that.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about it, but more from his Canon years about getting like a limo from his trailer to like the scene and things.
Yeah.
But they paid him a hell of a lot of money, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, most of the times I think they paid him more than the actual budget for the film. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially later on with assassination stuff, where Canon was really were really financially down with their stuff. After that, of course, that what was it, Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe, which they lost a lot of money on. Yeah. I didn't mind Donato and Daughter for a TV movie. There's another title, Dead Rights, in some country. Yeah, I think on that German Blu-ray it also says Crime and Punishment. So there's a couple of titles for it. The Family of Cops trilogy. Yeah, those are his last sort of films, TV movies, which they're okay as well. I think the first one is directed by Ted Kotcheff, who did First Blood with Stallone, obviously. But yeah, those films just really get sad to sort of look at, especially by the second and third one, where you can just sort of see Bronson's health deteriorating by each film, by each installment. You really see him looking worse and worse, and by the end, you could just tell, yeah, that was it for Bronson in terms of his career, which actually is pretty sad to see. But they're still decent films, that's for sure. Yeah, he didn't give interviews too often. On the few that he did, he came across as a really nice guy. Yeah, very, down to earth sort of guy. Yeah. Which actually, as I was watching that documentary last night on my night shift, which I discovered Bronson, the Hollywood's Lone Wolf, which I shared on my community, sort of like this hour documentary. There were some very sort of rare interview clips with Bronson in that, which I actually had never seen before. I'd seen a couple of them on these Blu-ray releases, but there were some in there that I even hadn't seen prior. So I think most of it's, yeah, they are on YouTube actually. If you want to check out Donato and Daughter, and I think the first Family of Cops films, or maybe even the second, they are on YouTube available to watch. Yeah. I'm glad Jill Ireland didn't play the female lead as a Mexican. Well, yeah, that definitely wouldn't fit her. I mean, she was very very light skinned. Yeah, that wouldn't be as good. As she wasn't that good as an Italian girl in the Valachi Papers. Yeah, true, very true. That is probably my least favorite of her roles in a Bronson film. Would probably be the Valachi Papers. Trying to think, either that or. Wasn't too much of a fan of her on The Mechanic as well, but I do get that was sort of her character. She was supposed to be a bad actress as the character, but yeah, probably that one. The Family of Cops movies reminds me of Richard Pryor's last film, where it was pretty obvious his health wasn't what it used to be. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think even by the first Family of Cops film, you can actually see that Bronson looks a bit lost at times, where obviously in his final years he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I think in that film it started to show a little bit. So, which again, yeah, pretty sad to see. Jill Ireland got a lot of flack, but I think she was okay. Yeah, I've always sort of preferred her myself to Sandra Locke. Of course, Clint Eastwood would work with a couple of times. But it was interesting after we did that Eastwood stream on the Talking Movies series, where you guys were like, well, she's actually pretty good in like the Gauntlet, and she actually does a good job in Sun Impact. And I was like, yeah, actually, she does pretty good in those films. And I sort of reconsidered it. I think I've sort of put them on the same level, maybe slightly give the edge still to to Jail Ireland. But it is a tough call.
Yeah.
Both aren't the greatest thespians. Let's put it that way.
Do you think that's the biggest missed opportunity in movie history, pairing of Eastwood and Bronson still?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was actually looking if there were some sort of clips or anything with them together in it. Because in that documentary there was a clip where Bronson talked about Dirty Harry. He was offered the script, but he couldn't do it at the time, and he was saying like Clint Eastwood was a good fit for it. And I was like, oh, cool. He's actually saying something positive about Eastwood. I do like that. I always thought they were sort of like more competitors in a way, like Arnold and Stallone were in the 80s.
Yeah.
But no, apparently they are obviously together in that episode of Rawhide. There's an episode on there where Bronson is the guest star, and they do actually they do share the frame in one frame. I always thought that they were sort of shot separate, but there's a frame where they're together, which is definitely the closest we ever got. But yeah, imagine them in a film together. That would have been oh man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Like a Dirty Harry versus Death Wish sort of film. Vigilante teams up with a cop or something. I mean, that would have been great.
I always thought like a Tango and Cash type thing for them
Yeah,
two.
yeah, like a buddy
Just
cop film. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. From Noon Till Three is probably my favorite of Jill Ireland's roles with Bronson. Yeah, yeah, Locke was really good in The Gauntlet and Sudden Impact. Yeah, Bronson and Eastwood in one movie, The Celluloid, wouldn't have been able to handle it. It would have just caught fire. Yeah, there would have been too much testosterone in the film. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Bronson was considered for actually all three of the Leone films, or because Bronson got the script for Fistful of Dollars, he turned it down. He got it for a few dollars more, he turned it down. He turned down a role in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then finally he did accept for Once Upon a Time in the West. But yeah, that would have been awesome. Imagine if Bronson was like, I mean, even though it's hard to imagine anybody but Eli Wallach as Tuco, uh, and I don't see Bronson as sort of having that much dialogue as Tuco has, but it still would have been great if they were all, in that final showdown. You had Lee Van Cleef there, Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson, the ultimate stare down. Yeah, that would have been cool. But again, I wouldn't want to change the film now, but because obviously Eli Wallach is absolutely fantastic in that role. And here we have Bronson hard at work, picking some melons.
When I first see this and he kept going on about his melons, it just made me laugh. The first time I ever see this film.
Yeah. Yeah, because he said it so many times. He said it to Randall, like, I just want to
Yeah.
get my melons. Then he said it to the cop, like, I want to get a melon crop in. Yeah. And then even, yeah, Randall says it later, like, all the man wanted to do was just to get his melons in. And then, of course, they shoot most of the melons, but that scene is coming up. A Dirty Death Wish, yeah, crossover. Which I don't know if Garrett is still here, but that might be happening in some form. Jill Ireland wasn't dropped that gorgeous for me, but she did look quite tidy in Violent City. Yeah, she does look really good in that film. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I like her best in that one.
Hmm.
I really like that film. Telly Savalas as well. I think
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
really
great
do
one.
like that one.
That's probably my favorite or second favorite of sort of the Eurocrime films. I really enjoy Violent City. Oh yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, he was almost cast as Snake Plissken. Yeah. But yeah, even though looking at that as well, Kurt Russell I think was the best choice for that. But if they would have cast Bronson for it, it would have been awesome as well. That's for sure. This is actually a pretty brutal scene as well, where they run over the portable toilet, I guess, and then, as it turns out, the cop is actually was in there. TV is still on there. The cop is still alive, and then Randa, instead of like shooting him or whatever, he sort of kills him with the board that he's going to pick up there. Which this film is rated 18 in the UK. At least it has an 18 in the on the Blu-ray. But I think in America this might have been like a PG film, or there's a PG now. It's re-rated. But I do
Yeah.
still think this is a. I mean, obviously you don't see much, but I do think the implication of what happens here is still pretty brutal.
Yeah, I think 18's a bit strong for this. It should 15 here. I mean, to
15,
give it the
yeah,
same rating
yeah,
as a Death Wish film doesn't make sense.
yeah. It makes you wonder if they even saw the film back in the day, because, yeah, like I said, this one came out at the same time as Death Wish, at least in the US. Maybe they were just like, well, Death Wish is a strong 18, and Mr. Majestyk would just make that an 18 as well. Makes you wonder if they even judged the film fairly.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I do agree that it is a bit strong to put an 18 rating on this film. Assassination, damn annoying. I actually, as I've sort of rewatched Assassination a couple of times over the years, I actually don't mind her as much in that film. Definitely in Love and Bullets, she's a bit annoying though with the Southern Belle accent that she's doing. I agree with that. Actually, as a whole, I would say Assassination is a film that sort of grew on me. I actually used to hate it back in the day because, sort of, the same as this film, you have the cover where Charles Bronson has a rocket launcher on it, and then it's rated PG-13, or like it has a 12 rating here. I was like, Charles Bronson in a Canon film, he has a rocket launcher on the cover. That shouldn't be a PG-13 film. That should have been a hard R. So I had some issues with that film, but I actually have come around to that one. I do appreciate that film now. Oh yeah, this is also another team up that would have been cool. He almost did the Lee Marvin role in Delta Force. Would have been the two Chucks together. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Which,
not
yeah,
criticizing Lee Marvin, but he didn't look fit enough for that role for me.
mm,
Even though I love the film, he looked too frail.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
But Lee
Yeah,
Marvin, great, great movie star.
yeah. Oh, Bob didn't like The Evil That Men Do. I thought it was too slow, but that might be just me. I think that moved at a pretty good pace, actually. I don't know. I don't have any major issues with that film. What do you think of that one, Dan?
Uh, Definitely not fast paced, but I think it's got a good pace to it, and it's quite a graphic one. I mean, when I watched that,
Oh yeah,
Carlos pointed out it's quite a graphic one. I thought, well, bloody hell, this is a bit much. I was watching it with my partner. I thought it's a bit strong. This.
yeah, yeah. There's some disturbing scenes in that one where it sort of gets a bit graphic for sure. But still, yeah, that's a pretty good Bronson film from the '80s. Yeah, I remember the whole Southern Belle thing and Love and Bullets being a bit much. Yeah, yeah. I think she was Jill Arden was really trying to be like Dolly Parton or Tammy Wynette, or somebody like that. She was really, I think she modeled it off one of those two. Yeah, Michael likes The Evil That Man Do. It's one of his favorites. Yeah, probably one of my favorites as well. I don't think I have it in my top 10. I think it sits just outside of it, but that is one I do enjoy. Oh yeah, that's true. He wasn't well on his health, was he? With the Delta
Oh,
Force.
okay.
Yeah, because I think that was also his last movie. I think he passed away a year or so after that, or 2 years after that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he was already
my
quite ill on. Yeah,
favorite of his is Point Blank, Lee Marvin.
Oh yeah, Point Blank. Yeah. Here we go. The poor melons are being are being massacred. This is the Colorado watermelon massacre, as I call it. Obviously, yes, the film is set in Colorado, but I think that's obvious. Yeah, there goes Bronson's melons. Sounds weird to say. Yeah, the evil that man do was cut to bits. Yeah, especially in the UK, I would imagine. Yeah, depending where you buy the film. Yeah, I think the German film, the German version is uncut. The one that I have. Yeah, which I think you have that as well. You have that as the Liquidator as well, don't you? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a German version. Yeah.
yeah, he's uncut, that one.
Hmm. In the UK, they cut out the whole scene in Love and Bullets. Oh yeah, with the blowpipe, and he's yeah. Apparently, that was something that Bronson actually did in real life. He actually suggested that scene for the film to be in there because that was actually a skill that he could do. Oh, yeah, I should point out in this scene where they are sitting here in the bar, we saw Bronson put some salt in his beer, but he actually never drinks his beer in this scene. And this was actually because Bronson didn't drink much. He actually wasn't a big fan of alcohol, except for some odd sort of liqueur he would drink, but no beer or stuff. So in this scene, even though he has a beer on the table and he puts some salt in it, and he sort of moves it in his hand a little bit, but he actually doesn't drink it. Because yeah, Bronson again, he was very regimented with his workout and stuff. He didn't really like a lot of alcohol and beer and stuff. Actually, it's funny in the film that he did after Death Wish, which of course was after this, like I said. But in Breakout, his character's drinking beer like a whole lot in that film. In Breakout, apparently, what they did is they rigged the cans that he was drinking the beer with mineral water, so there wasn't beer in there because Bronson refused to drink beer. Yeah.
It's another film I really like as well.
Yeah, it's a bit underrated one. It's pretty good one. It's
Quite
more
funny.
more funny, more comedic for Bronson. Yeah, and that's also I think another one where I don't mind Jill Ireland in it that much. I think she does good in that film. And of course, I mean you have Rob Duvall in there, but I don't think he has too much to do in that one. But
Yeah.
it's still always good to see him. Here we have another cool sort of little moment that's coming up here in the film. Seems like there's no use trying to get on your good side. And then, bam, he belts him with a left hook. He goes down. And obviously, he can't do anything about it because there's cops in the bar that are watching Majestyk. And I like that they both push Castle around there. Hey, wouldn't you call a cop? I do like his truck in this one as well. That I guess that Ford truck. It is a Ford, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I do like that truck as well. And here he discovers the Melon Massacre. I think this is the only point in the film where he gets a bit emotive, where he's like, "Nancy, come in here." He gets emotional about his melons. Oh yeah, now they pissed him off. Now they didn't. Now they done it. Let's see, where was I? There we go. Yeah, the torture scene at the start of Evil. Yeah, that was a pretty gruesome scene to start out with the scrotum, with the electricity to the scrotum and to the balls. Yeah. Plus the bit where Bronson. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite Bronson takedown scenes where he just twists out guys. Yeah, as Michael Myers says, Dick. Yeah. That big Mexican guy. Yeah. Who would have thought Bronson and Reeve would be? Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, I was going to say Carlos that mentioned the Seawolf. They're talking about the Seawolf there with Bronson and Christopher Reeve. Yeah, that is a pretty good one again for a TV movie. I do wish that would have been made earlier, like maybe around this point, where Bronson was in his prime. But that's a pretty good film, a pretty good role for Bronson as well. Yeah, Bronson was as the old man in The Sea Wolf. I haven't seen that one, but I heard it's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. As I mentioned to Jeff yesterday, Dan, Al and Terry had mob connections, and McQueen said on the set of The Getaway that Al had a few heavies on the set. Yeah, this is true. As I do remember, I think also Coppola. I think Coppola said the same thing about Al and Terry. I think on one of the commentaries, I think for the Godfather film. So he was the real deal as far as the mob was concerned. He had some real connections.
Wow.
This is funny because they shot like hundreds of rounds into all these melons, but there's still like I would say like 200 melons or something that he saves that are still good. Yeah, very odd. But there's still melons that are good.
Did you say this was in your top 5, Bronson, or just outside of it?
I'd probably say this is just outside the top 5 for me. Again, I think I have to look again at my ranking, what I did there, but I think I had this at number 6. It was just outside the top 5, yeah. I think my top 5 as it is right now, I think obviously number 1 for me is Once Upon a Time in the West. Number 2, I would have Hard Times. Number 3, it's tough. Probably I would say Death Wish 2, because I do prefer to the original Death Wish, and I would have the original Death Wish at 4. What do I have on number 5? There's too many to choose. I have to revisit my ranking again. It's too many. I think I might add 10 to Midnight on my number 5, actually. Yeah, I do really love and rate 10 to Midnight highly, so I think I had that at 5. Oh yeah, Kinjete, his last film in the 80s with Cannon. Kinjete, however you pronounce it, Forbidden Subjects, was a pretty rough movie, but that one was actually left uncut in the UK. Yeah, I was going to say, because that also has some disturbing scenes in it. It deals with like a child prostitution ring, and I think in the opening scene, Bronson uses a sex toy on a suspect, let's say, in a very rough manner. But yeah, I do like that one. That's always been one that I also found quite underrated, actually. Yeah, same with me, Michael. I've also only seen the one with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. I've seen that one, but I will definitely check out the original one very, very soon.
Yeah, I won't watch the remake just because I love the original so much.
Yeah,
I like Alec Baldwin. I'm not going to go near it.
The thing is, I've seen the film on TV one night. It was on there late night one time, and I caught it. I actually thought it was the original, but then I looked closer and it was the remake. But so that's how I saw that film. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see. I mean, the original, by all accounts, from what I've seen, it looks like a really, really great kick-ass film. So it's been on my wanted list for a while. Just been trying to track down a copy for it. I think the Blu-ray. I think you can only get a US Blu-ray at the moment. I think the other ones are like out of stock or out of print, hard to get. I mean, I think Carlos, he will know which copy is the best, but I think at the moment you can only get like the US copy of it.
Oh, I didn't know the UK one's out of print. Yeah, I never
Is that the
knew
one
that.
you have?
Yeah, I've got the UK one. Yeah, Warner Brothers release, so it's region 3.
Oh yeah, yeah. The thing is, I can't check right now because I got my phone that's obviously, you know, recording the TV. So otherwise, I would have looked there. But I think the US one is the only one available right now. So if anybody else can do some research while I don't have any of my devices ready, I would appreciate it. But yeah, the UK version I would definitely be able to get if it was available. I mean, even so, the US version I think I would be able to get easily, and would be no problem because I do have a region-free Blu-ray player. But I do also think that the Warner Brother discs, in general, I think they're mostly always region-free anyway. So I don't think there will be a problem there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out again in the UK because since we've got the Warner Classic label, I mean, a lot of the new Warner stuff they're putting out is just reissued on that label.
Yeah.
At a higher price point.
Yeah. Yeah, usually the bad luck with me is I get the film after I've been sort of been after it for a while. I get the film finally, and then they announce a special edition or something, and I'm like, I should have waited. That's usually how it goes for me. Like I'm gonna bet you I just got the German Blu-ray for Death Hunt. I'm gonna bet you they're gonna announce a special edition or UK or US release of it very soon. I just feel it in my bones. That's usually how it goes.
I just have to say no. I have to be happy with what I got because I've gone from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray and I can't do 4K now. Too much.
Yeah, I only want to do the 4K upgrades for the real favorite films of mine, the films that I really love the most, like Scarface. I do have it on 4K now. I have that actually on DVD still. I have it on Blu-ray. I have it on 4K now, that film. But that's, I think, where it is going to stop. I don't think I'm going to upgrade to another format. I think 4K is it's going to be the final jump for me with the formats. Sorry, let's just skip that one there, Bob. Yeah, young Nicole Eggert, how do you pronounce it? In Kinjete, yeah, that is true. Oh yeah, that's that's a great scene where he makes the pimp swallow his Rolex with like a diamond face plated, whatever he has in gold studs on it, whatever. He makes him swallow that. Pretty cool scene. The Getaway remake is really good. Certainly not the kind of shitty remakes they do nowadays. Yeah, I actually didn't mind the film, but again, bear in mind I haven't seen the original one yet, so but I didn't mind it. Hey, Vinny, good evening. Hope you're all doing well. Firework all going off here, not even the 5th of November. Eggert was a RoboCop clone, the Demolitionist. Don't think I've seen that one. I've seen Demolition Man with Stallone, but RoboCop clone, the Demolitionist. Have you seen that one?
Never even heard of it. No.
Have to check that out. Lots of fireworks. Yeah, we just had, what was it, 30 minutes ago? We just heard a barrage of fireworks coming from Dan's end there. Yeah.
You open the front door here, it's like war out there.
Yeah. Yeah, some people just go really crazy with the fireworks. As you said earlier, I never really saw the appeal myself. Never really saw it as well. And this is a scene where the music sort of sounds a little bit like Once Upon a Time in the West, isn't it? This is where the
Yeah.
little guitar theme comes in. Yeah. I just heard that there. Yeah. Which, as I was saying to Dan earlier, there's the music here in this scene sort of reminds a viewer of Once Upon a Time in the West. It can sort of remind a viewer. And there's also another connection, obviously, that Bronson is facing a villain that is called Frank, which also was the name of Henry Fonda's character in Once Upon a Time in the West. He's also called Frank. So this is the second time he battles a Frank, I should say. It wouldn't be the last one because I think the villain in Murphy's Law, the mobster, is also called Frank in that one. So Bronson likes taking on the Franks. Oh yeah, I did see that actually yesterday, the Netflix documentary on Sly. Have you seen that one yet, Dan?
My Netflix just run out, and I see they put it up to $17.99 here now in the UK, and I
Oh
thought,
yeah.
oh, it's just I do really want to see that. Is it good?
Yeah, it's a pretty good documentary. I again, with any of these documentaries, I always wish that they were longer and more sort of extensive and more detail and stuff. But I think it's a really good one. I think it's a really good documentary from Sly's perspective on all of his sort of choices in his career and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah.
I'll see if I can get hold of a bootleg copy or something to add to the collection. I'd rather watch it that way.
Yeah, there probably will be a Stinky Tuna edition or something. Yeah. Sly needs to do another Rambo. I really think he should leave Rambo alone at this point. I mean, I'm a big Stallone fan. I would still probably go see it if he did another Rambo, but I don't think it's necessary anymore. I think Rambo Last, but it might not have had the perfect ending, but it was an ending for the character. I think he should just leave it at that. Murphy's Law and Kinjete are the only two movies I think he drops the F-bomb in. Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. I don't think Bronson used the F-bomb often. That's a fair point, actually. Because yeah, he obviously does say don't fuck with Jack Murphy and Murphy's Law. Yeah, pretty good one there, Michael. That's actually I never thought about that. Oh, Eastwood Carlos has dropped his top 10. He has Violent City at number 10, Rider on the Rain at 9, Red Sun at 8, Death Wish 2 at 7, Mr. Majestyk at 6, Death Hunt at 5, The Mechanic at 4, Hard Times at 3, the original Death Wish at 2, and then number 1, of course, yeah, Once Upon a Time in the West. Which, yeah, that's a solid list, solid titles there, Carlos. I love all them films. I don't think I would have Red Sun in my top 10 though. I think that also just comes in at like number 12 or something. In my top 15, that would probably be there. But Death Hunt would just be outside the top 10, even though that's a really great one as well. Yeah. So I'm not going to pressure you into doing a top 10, but give us some of your some of your favorites, Dan, if you can.
I could do a 5 as my 5. Hard Times, number 1. As I say, my favourites are different. Undoubtedly, the best is Once Upon a Time in the West, but just off of what I personally watch more, Hard Times, Mr. Majestyk, Once Upon a Time in the West, Death Hunt, and then Death Wish 2.
Yeah.
That'd be my 5.
Yeah, those are some great ones. Yeah.
There's so many I could watch of his all the time, but that's just my definite top 5.
Yeah, some great titles. Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of us have some very similar picks there in top 5. I mean, Carlos, obviously, me and Carlos have the same number 1 there. Hard Times is in all of our rankings, as we just said. I think The Mechanic for me is at number 7 or 8, probably. Also just outside my top 5. Oh yeah, and there's no 10 to Midnight in his ranking, which it's a shame because I love that film. No, I'm kidding, of course, but I do love that film. Yeah, but no, in general, I think our ranking there is pretty similar in certain places. I remember seeing this film back in the 80s on BBC. Yeah, I imagine this one got some airtime on TV over the years. I think even I've seen this one on TV here in the Netherlands. So, what was the question again? Oh yeah, we had a question for Carlos. What was it again? Oh yeah, on the release of what did we say?
The Getaway.
Oh yeah, the release of The Getaway, the original McQueen. Is there still the UK one available, or which one is the best one to get? That was the question on releases for the original Getaway. Oh yeah, I definitely recommend that one, Michael. That one is again, like I said, I just have the German DVD here. It's Bronson and Lee Marvin teaming up again after what is it, 12, 13 years or whatever after the Dirty Dozen. Really good film. Predecessor a little bit to First Blood, where it's sort of about a man being hunted by a posse, and he sort of turns the table on him. Which, interestingly, Bronson also did a film called Chado's Land, which had that same sort of premise going on. Now, obviously, First Blood, the book, was written in 1972, and the film Chado's Land came out in 72. So it's pretty much a case of which came first, but I think definitely, one inspired the other a little bit in that instance, I would say. Yeah, another one. He would also have 10 to Midnight pretty high. Yeah. Oh yeah, and before we forget, here's the awesome 70s car chase, which in terms of 70s car chases, I think this one I would put right up there with like the French Connection and even though people always say Bullet, but it's not a 70s film technically, but it's one of the first that really set the tone. I would put it up there with these films. I do like Bronson in the back of the truck assembling his rifle. Also pretty similar to, I would say, Cobra with Stallone, where he's in the back of the truck with a gun. Obviously not as action-packed as Cobra, but because he doesn't have a machine gun, obviously. But I do like this, yeah. Yeah, and that apparently is not Bronson. That was a stuntman there in the back there. That's not Bronson. But this is a really cool car chase.
This always reminds me of GTA San Andreas taking the Bobcat across country.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Bobcat? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I used to do that as well. You either take the Bobcat or the Sanchez, the dirt bike. I would always ride around with that one in San Andreas. Yeah. I put on the country station, the K Rose station. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that bit where he kicks open the back of the truck there. I don't know if that would be possible, but hey, it's Bronson. I buy it. There we go. This is what we've been talking about. Like that was a real car rolling over, real crash. This is what I want to see in films, not the CGI crap. Oh, yeah, apparently this is Bronson in the back because obviously the car is going to come to the camera now. This is Bronson right there at the back.
You certainly can't buy any movie star now as an action star, can you? Like just things like this, and you can see it's him driving as well.
Yeah. Yeah, how many action stars do you have nowadays who can do it? That's driving stuff here that he's doing. I think even if you do have like these car scenes in films where they are shooting the actors inside, there's a guy on top who's actually doing the driving. So, but back in the 70s, they all did their own driving. I mean, obviously, Steve McQueen is a prime example of that. He always did his own driving,
Yeah.
if it's motorcycle or car, he always did that himself. Yeah. Actually, Bronson has another cool car chase that's in The Stone Killer. There's a pretty cool car chase in that film as well.
Yeah. I really like The Stone Killer. Gets overshadowed a bit.
Yeah, same for me. That's a film that actually grew on me because the first time I watched that, I wasn't too big on it. I just saw it as this Dirty Harry sort of rip-off, which I thought the pacing was a little off in that film. But over the years, as I've rewatched it, I've really, really grown fonder of that film and grown a better appreciation of it. So I really like The Stone Killer nowadays. Yeah. All right, the Getaway is quite pricey for some reason. Tends to be 20 plus UK or US. So the UK is still available. Okay. Yeah. No, I will pick up a copy of that. That's what's missing. Bronson putting a bad guy on a big hook. Yeah, like Cobra. Yeah, this isn't an 80s film yet, so we don't end this film in a factory. Other recommended Bronson films: Somebody Behind the Door, The Valachi Papers, The Stone Killer, 10 to Midnight, Love and Bullets, and Chado's Land. Yeah, those are all great films there. As we just discussed, The Stone Killer. But yeah, The Valachi Papers, I think, is probably my least favorite of those films that he mentions there. Even though I do still like it, it's a bit underrated and it does have a good Bronson performance. But I just say overall, it's not my favorite of Bronson's, but I do like it. We have Yam Yam's Talking Movies here, or
Oh,
Yam
yeah,
Yam's Moving Talkies. Yeah, that's it. Watcher guys, hope you're well. It's great to see fellow Charles Baczynski. Yeah, we shouldn't forget that's his actual name. Yeah, Charles Baczynski.
man.
Yeah. Anyway, how you doing, Yam Yam? Thanks for joining us on this evening. Yeah, we do love Bronson around here. That's actually, when I started this channel about 10 years ago. At this point, well, yeah, I think it was 10 years ago. I was really becoming a Bronson fan. I was really getting into his films. I just saw a handful of his films. My first one actually that I saw was Once Upon a Time in the West. Shockingly enough. But no, at this point I was sort of getting into his canon stuff, and I watched all the Death Wish films. And going on YouTube, I didn't really find too many people, talking about Charles Bronson. Not too many videos on Bronson. So I was like, I'm going to start a channel, called 101 Bronson, have some Bronson content on there. That's really the main reason why I started this channel, because I just found him to be so underrated, so overlooked, underappreciated even. So that's how that all started with 101 Bronson. I chose the icon for it and everything. It's like Bronson is sort of like the mascot of the channel, if you will. Obviously, nowadays I talk about other stuff besides Bronson, but he's still sort of at the center of it. So yeah, that's why I started, because I didn't really find too many people appreciating him. And luckily nowadays, I mean, obviously Dan is a big Bronson fan. Carlos, I've met a couple of Bronson fans on there, which I'm really, really happy about. To find more people like me. It's always great to find some like-minded people. Anyone mentioned Messenger of Death? Not typical Bronson, but quite watchable. We haven't mentioned it yet, but it's coming up on Monday. I'm going to be watching that one on Monday with Rob, Rob's Vintage Video from Canada. He's going to be joining me for that film. So
Yeah.
we'll probably bring it up on Monday for sure. What's your favorite J. Lee Thompson talkie with Bronson? Mine is Murphy's Law, closely followed by 10 to Midnight. Oh, I would probably be the other way around. I'd probably have 10 to Midnight as my favorite collaboration of theirs. And then probably Murphy's Law. Even though I do like Say Nice, which was the first one they did. The White Buffalo, The Evil That Men Do, they're all great films. I think those two for me, especially as canon, as trashy canon films, they're my standouts. Yeah, they have worked together on 9 films. It's tough to choose, but which would you say is your favorite of theirs, Dan?
Oh, 10 to midnight. Yeah. I was really happy when that come out from 88 Films. I thought we
Yeah,
was
me
never going
too.
to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messenger of Death. Carlos says I like the storyline, but it's sizzled out for me. Yeah, it's a pretty sort of forgettable one. I would say with Bronson. Not a bad one per se. It's still well made, I think, and there are some nice elements to enjoy in it. But overall, as a Bronson film, it's a bit of a disappointment, especially because of the marketing. They always picture Bronson with a gun on the cover, which yeah, Messenger of
Yeah.
Death, he actually doesn't shoot a gun. He only shoots a gun once, but not at a person or anything. So it's a little misleading for that one. But overall, I do like the story, as Carlos says. Like that he's playing a reporter, sort of more mature role for him. Um, but it's definitely not an action-packed Bronson film, that's for sure. Oh yeah, for Michael Myers, that would be 10 to Midnight, number one, and then Evil and Man Do. Yeah, probably have that as my number three of theirs, I would say. As we are approaching the finale, I'm just going to quickly go for a refill because my throat is getting a bit dry. So I'll be back in just a second.
I would answer some comments, but I can't bring them up. As I said before, it's a bit odd sitting here, not hosting, but I'm enjoying it.
There we go. What did I miss? I'm assuming he didn't fall out with Thompson like he did with Winner. No, actually, I think they worked together until like the very end. I mean, I think J. Lee Thompson passed away in like the early 90s, and I think Kinjete was J. Lee Thompson's last film of his career, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there, but yeah. But no, they didn't have a falling out. One odd Bronson, yeah, Twinkie. Have you seen that one?
No, I've heard about that. That's another one I forgot all about. What's
Yeah,
controversial about that one?
that's sort of an odd one. He did that one right after Once Upon a Time in the West. It was a film he shot in London in the UK, directed by Richard Donner from Lethal Weapon and The Goonies.
Uh,
Um, and it's a film where he plays a 40 plus year old writer who falls in love with like the 16-year-old schoolgirl. It's a
oh yeah,
really,
yeah,
really odd film. Yeah.
yeah. I know the one now.
Which especially, him doing that film right after Once Upon a Time in the West, it's crazy that he went from that film to Twinkie or Lola, as it is also known indeed, as Carl was just pointing out there. I mean, controversial today. I mean, it was. I think it was even controversial back in the day. If we're being honest.
Yeah.
No impressions from Jeff. He's slipping. What are you talking about? I've done a few Bronson impressions on this stream. He's sort of taken over because actually before the stream I was already talking as Bronson before we went live. Yeah, Twinkie wouldn't be very PC in today's climate. Yeah, but then again, a lot of these films wouldn't be. So. Oh yeah, that was Susan George who played the 16-year-old schoolgirl. Obviously, she was 18 or 19 at the time, but yeah, she was definitely of the legal age. Let's put it that way. But still, odd to see them both on screen kissing and stuff.
There's some dodgy films from back then. I always remember one called Pretty Baby. That's really like, yeah, and Lolita. I think, bloody hell.
Yeah, Lolita. Yeah. There we go. Bronson shoots this guy. Now he stands up after being shot in the chest with a shotgun, which looks a little unlikely for me. I mean, I don't think you would get up from a shotgun blast to the chest, but. Oh wait, this was a ranking here. Messenger of Death at number 5. Oh, that high. Assassination. Oh, I think this is ranking the J. Lee Thompson films because this is the one that he did with. These are the ones I should say that he did with J. Lee Thompson. Yeah, pretty good ranking there, Bob. Yeah, Conjette, Murphy's Law. Definitely have the first 3 I would have in there. Also the Evil Men Do. I do really like St. Eyes. I think that's a pretty underrated Bronson film. Oh, for Yam Yam, it's The Evil Men Do, one of the most underrated Bronson talkies. Such a great action drama, which sadly gets overlooked. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, here we go. Oh, I thought we were getting the final thing between him and Randa, but no, it's Castle that's running out here. And apparently, this ending was changed. Originally, Bronson would have shot and killed Paul Castle's character, but Richard Fleischer, the director, actually changed it to where he lives. And then Bronson said, "I'm not here to make Paul Castle a star." But they went ahead and shot. Just shoots him out the window. I do like that smile that he gives there. Oh yeah, Evil Mandu was very, very violent. Yeah, we just talked about that. Michael Winner was an asshole. After Bronson's death, he claimed he bettered Jill Ireland. He didn't claim that when Bronson was alive, would have got his face smashed. Yeah, I think Michael Winner and Jill Ireland were actually in a relationship like years before. Her and Bronson met and got married. And I think it was actually Jill Ireland that introduced both of them to work on Chaos Land. And they didn't talk about their previous relationship because, yeah, as Michael Winner would say, Charlie would have probably killed me. So I don't think he would have necessarily killed him, but I do think there would have been some punching involved. Yeah. But I love the ending of Messenger of Death, the scene on the stairs. Absolutely love it. Oh yeah, with the little fight scene. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. And here we have the final line of the film. You were right. He was really trying to kill me. And then, yeah, this is the end of the film. We actually got a couple of credits that are still coming up. Not much. It's just like 30 seconds of credits that we're going to get now. These 70s films didn't have, huge end credit titles, so. Yeah, here are the credits. Charles Bronson, Alan Terry, Linda Cristal, Lee Purcell, Paul Coslow. Who else was in this? Alejandro Rey, I think I recognize that name. Jordan Rhodes. This is all we're getting. We're just getting the cast list again. And that's it. MGM, so it's owned by Amazon nowadays. Let's remove this one. There we go. Yeah, that's the end of the film. Let's get to a few comments again. There's a story that Bronson was so intimidating that once somebody pulled a gun on Bronson in real life and Bronson scared the guy. The guy ran off. Not sure how true it is, though. I don't think I've heard that story, but I mean, if I pulled a gun on somebody and it turns out it was, Charles Bronson, if I saw that face staring at me, I would probably retreat as well, yeah. All right, Carlos, we're at the end of the film anyway, so take care, buddy. I'm sure we'll speak soon. But Bronson was a genuine tough guy. Not only does he look tough and rugged and built like a brick wall, yeah, but he used to box and he liked to fight. Yeah, he did, actually. I think he did box, indeed. And yeah, he also liked to fight. He got into a couple of fights on set in some films very early on. Fleischer made some total turds in the 80s. Amityville 3 and Red Sonja. I actually don't mind Red Sonja, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also did the second Conan film, Conan the Destroyer. Here's Eastwood. Fun fact, the criminal Charles Bronson picked his name Charles Bronson after Charles Bashinsky because he has a tough guy name and is a genuine tough guy, yeah. Indeed, that's the UK prisoner, yeah. If you like Straw Dogs, I highly recommend Fright, starring Susan George and Dennis Waterman. It's brilliant. I do like Straw Dogs, so probably would have to check that one out. I like Kinjete, but I'm not a fan of the ending because Bronson didn't get revenge on what happened to his daughter. Yeah, that was a weird. It sort of looked like they were going that way in the plot, in the direction, but then they it sort of didn't really have a resolution to it, so didn't have a definitive end to that story. But I haven't seen Fright, but heard it's pretty good. Hopefully better than The House Where Evil Dwells. I haven't seen that film either, but that Fright looks sounds interesting. That's a different film, but I do like that line. They killed the giggler. They killed the giggler! Of course, that's from Death Wish 3. Never mess with Bronson's watermelons. Yeah, we just found that out here as he shot Terry and some other people, and Paul Kosler is the only one that made it out alive. But yeah, that was Mr. Majestyk. I think we're also at the end of the comments, and we're almost at the 2-hour mark. So I would say it's a good time to wrap up the stream. And we have one more comment there. R.I.P. the giggler. Shouldn't have tried to steal Bronson's camera. Yeah. And on that great little comment there, I would say thank you to everyone for watching. This has been the watch party for Mr. Majestyk from 1974, classic Charles Bronson film. Thank you very much, Dan, again, for agreeing to appear. I couldn't have thought of a better guest for this film.
Honestly, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It was absolutely fantastic. Oh, before we go, I do see that a great channel here has popped up. The Forgotten Horror channel, Davey Dark. How are you doing, Davey? As we were just wrapping up, we are doing good. We just watched a great Charles Bronson film. And yeah, just as he has popped up, I do want to say check this channel out, guys, because it's a great horror channel talking about some great horror films, some great guys, Dave and Anthony. Yeah. I think that's about it. So again, thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks to everybody in the comments. Again, thank you very much, Dan. And I would say have a good evening, everyone. And we'll be back on Monday with Messenger of Death. On Tuesday, I'll be on Gareth's channel for a Scarface watch along. On Wednesday, I'm having Matt Pockwall 316 on for Death Wish 2. On Wednesday, I'm having Dave Savage Zombie on for Death Wish 3. And then it's going to be a week after that. We're going to have Gareth on here for Death Wish 4. So stay tuned for those watch parties. And I would say have a good one. Keep it Bronson for Bronson month. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Well, everyone.